Alrighty, my good tenor. Wisp Prime has arrived. I haven't done a Wisp guide before. Just listen here. This video is your one-stop pit stop thingy for Wisp Prime builds and her weapons, even for her non-Prime variants as well. This will be my no BS Wisp guide and her weapon builds included. Let's get straight into it. Firstly, Wisp herself. You should know how to farm her. You get her through relics. Always remember to check the codex to find out where to farm relics, but like every prime frame that arrives, Uko for Neo and Miso relics, Hepit for Lith, and then Apollo for Axi relics. That's relics done. That's the prime version. The non-prime version, you farm her at the Ropalopa list, and that's it. That's how to get Wisp. I won't go over her abilities in detail because Acid Prime has been out for a long time and she is quite literally one of the most played supports in Warframe, so I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to play her. But for those of you that really don't know this frame at all, I'm going to be brief. She puts down 3 different types of motes that buffs allies. She has a teleport ability. She sends little sparkles to enemies, giving you a huge damage multiplier and status chance. And then you whip out the Pocket Sun. But ironically, this is Wisp's most useless ability that no one uses. Her first setup is, you guessed it, the usual Pillage Wisp. Corrosive Projection is minus 18% armor reduction, plus Pillage at about 300% strength is about 75% plus armor stripping, which means full armor strip. Bear in mind, I do have 5 Archon shards pumped into strength for the funnies, so that's why my strength is higher here. Then we have Raw Wisp, which is a go-to. Stack a lot of strength, and remember, Wisp has terrible energy sustain for most of her builds, so we use Equilibrium with Synth Fiber to help us sustain it a little bit better. And then also you have Arcane Energize if you have it. I know it's expensive. If you don't, just use Equilibrium. That should help you quite a bit. And let's just say you are a low MR player or you're a mid-game player and you don't have all the stuff, then I would say drop some strength and go a little bit more efficiency so that it would be more fun to play, because these are kind of late game builds and setups that you're following. Then we have the funny. Why? Because yes, 573% strength. Practical? No. Then we have the Arbitration Wisp, which is basically raw. It's just a slight little change. That's her setups for both the prime and non-prime variant. For the Archon shard suggestions, I would say 100%. 3 red on either more strength or duration, and 2 orange for casting speed. Casting speed is huge for Wisp. And Wisp Prime will be very pleased if you leave a like on this video. It really supports me. Then we move on to the Fulmin. Now, the Fulmin, I'll be honest with you, straight up, it's a mid-game weapon. It's average at late-game enemies. It's not the best. However, you can make it work against late-game enemies. It just requires a bit of work. The first setup is the basic, the usual source, the daily traffic. Your hunting munitions viral setup. You can't go wrong with it, right? Just don't ask me why I put terminal velocity. Sometimes questions are better unasked. Then we have the setup, which is what I was testing on, and tried to max out the damage. So, triple galvanized, hunting munitions, crit damage. Then we use our Panzer to prime viral for us, or we make use of our trusty old pal, the Epitaph, to prime enemies for galvanized aptitude, or you can use a new core as well. We use the auto fire and apply a lot of slash to our primed enemies and deal a decent amount of orange crits, maybe throw in some reds here and there, but not always. And then yeah, that's it. You can use the shotgun form of this weapon too. It works as well. I just prefer the AR because it kind of goes brrr. For those of you that have never used the Fulmin before, it is a weapon that has a battery mechanic to it, and also it can switch from a shotgun to an AR version. The shotgun is silenced and the AR is not silenced. Then this is the early game setup for those younger tenors. The Fulmin overall is a really good mid-game weapon, primed and non-primed variant. The builds stay the same for both versions. I used the Fulmin when I was working towards Steel Path, and actually it was really good. Well, probably one of the best weapons you can use leading up to Steel Path, besides the Ignis Wraith and so on, or Phantasma. The battery mechanic is absolutely amazing, meaning it has infinite ammo and it recharges when it runs out, so that's really nice, especially as an early player who maybe runs out of ammo because they don't have ammo mutation mods or whatever it is. So you never run out of ammo, so that's one problem completely removed as a beginner, and that's why I would highly suggest getting the base Fulmin or the prime version. Then we move on to the Gunsen, which is her Warframe thingy-majiggies. Now, these babies surprised me just a tad. I'm talking sick slash procs from these bad boys, I'm not gonna lie. So we have the big PP setup, which is what we use just for general hack and slash setup and applying a good amount of slash procs. Then we have the bigger PP, which is heavy attack version, all you need to do is stack up and apply viral either through epitaph or through a panzer, and heavy attack your tougher enemies and they will get hit with millions of slash proc damage. And then for the baby tenor, here is a build that you can work towards. Again, builds stay the same whether they are primed or normal versions, and that's my setup. And in terms of the Gunsen, I've actually never used them before until now when I actually put a build onto the prime variants, and actually they're quite fun. I would highly suggest using reach on it if you don't have prime reach, even normal reach maybe, because they are Warframe, so they're really like up close, and the extra range is a lot nicer when it comes to melee. I'm not usually a melee player, as most people know, but I will admit these are actually kind of fun. Will I play with them in the future? Probably not. That's just me. I'm a glaive diehard through and through. We all know this, but it is a great weapon, and I didn't expect to see so much slash. It's almost a 90% slash weighting, I think, something like that. It's a really high slash weighting, which is like pretty much Nakana level, which yeah, that's great. That's insane. I have made a Booboo. I completely forgot about Exodia Contagion Wisp. Basically, what you need is a Zor with Exodia Contagion. So here I have my Profiteker Zor. It's the Vaji, Jaitu, Bala, and Quath. You can use whatever you want. You build for something pretty simple. You go for flat damage, corrosive, and then some blood rush and so on, and then you use Exodia Contagion. Then for your weapons, you pretty much run secondary dexterity on both of them so that you can keep your combo sustain higher, or you can run the Naramon skill tree to keep your combo as well. Then for the Wisp build, you basically want to go something like Steel Charge and put on Arcane Fury so that you do more melee damage. You can use Vigorous Swap. I know that some people do use that. Otherwise, you can just use whatever the normal Wisp build will work, and then you subsume Eclipse onto your 4th ability, and then you make use of Breach Surge and Eclipse, and you kind of stack up everything, and that's it. That's pretty much how you run Exodia Contagion Wisp. It's really simple. For those of you that don't know at all, here is a demonstration. You basically just stack up your combo. You then prime them, cast your Eclipse, cast Breach Surge, and then you use Exodia Contagion and you'll do millions of damage. It's that simple. You do massive amounts of damage and you will pretty much kill everything really easily. And yeah, that is my setups with Wisp plus her weapons. Overall, Wisp is literally an S tier frame. She's arguably the best support, and she is an offensive support as well. She can be used to do every piece of content, and I would highly suggest those of you who haven't played her before to play her, even though that is slightly hypocritical of me because I don't play her myself, because I don't enjoy support. That's just me. Anyway, that's Wisp Prime. Hope you enjoyed the quick to the point guide. Didn't want to waste your time. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Planning on making some videos on Curlovo, Frost, and Protea after the update. This update, the Echoes of the Very update is actually pretty big. It's huge in terms of some of the changes and some quality of life changes. I really like it. And the new damage numbers are taking, you know, some getting used to, but otherwise really good. And yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. Okay, cool. Bye. Love you. Cool. Enjoy Acid Prime. Bye.